In a DC circuit, the power is going to be constant because the voltage and current are constant. So if you wanted to calculate the averages, it's going to be like pretty easy and pretty simple. There's not going to be much difference in instantaneous and average values. The calculation in general is simple. And averages are like sometimes very important for us to do some calculations. In alternating current, if you take an average, it's going to be zero, which doesn't really make sense. So here we use a small technique called root mean square. What we do is we square the value of voltage or current, and then we take a square root of that. So that is called the root mean square value, and this represents the average of the sinusoidal current and voltage. So for sine wave, here this is the formula we use. V root mean square for a sine wave equals 0.707 times Vm. So this Vm is the amplitude of the sine wave. And if you wanted to calculate Vm, or like the amplitude for a sine wave, that's going to be equal to 1.4 times VRMS. And this is the formula to calculate the RMS values. So the most important thing here is, for let's say if you're going to purchase a computer or something, so they will have given a nominal value or like the supply you will have to connect. For example, most of the basic appliances at your home will operate at like 120 volts or like 110 volts, so something like that. So that will be the normal operating voltage of those. And there are like other larger appliances, say your domestic water heater or some real big equipments actually, so the range, for example. So these are these would draw a lot of power, so they would need higher voltage. So at your home there are two different types of outlets, like one would give you 120 and the other would give you 240 or something like that actually. So some 110 and 220, so something like that. It will be around those range. So when we say that, we actually mean the root mean square value. So 110 is not the amplitude of the signal. It's going to be the RMS value. And if you wanted to find the amplitude of that 110 or 120, you will have to multiply that by 1.4 to get the amplitude for a sine wave, or like to get the amplitude of the sine wave. So that is the most important thing. So again, in this course, again, like maybe we will not be dealing with this much past the second module, but if you are using for any AC circuit, if we say voltage, it means the RMS voltage, or if we say current, it is the RMS current. And let's do some problems. So RMS value here, like when we say the mains voltage is 120 volts, we are quoting its RMS voltage. So what is its amplitude? So to get the amplitude, you just multiply 1.4 by 120, and this is the amplitude of the voltage 120 RMS. And here is another question for you. This would be the assignment question. A sine wave produced by an audio generator has an amplitude of 6 volts. So this is the amplitude, which means this is the maximum value, Vm, and what is its RMS value. So you will just have to use the formula from the slide before, and then you calculate the RMS value.